Hey everybody, how you doing? Well, I am waiting for the mechanic to come, and I'm pretty excited because it's been a long time waiting, and this is the first time that a real mechanic is going to be looking at the engine and evaluating things for me, and so I'm psyched. This is going to be great.
Oh yeah. Excellent. Haha, I've never seen that done before. That's pretty cool. Okay.
A couple other things since you're mechanic. I've taped this up with that rubbery tape. These are leaky. The engine doesn't leak too much oil, but they say British engines tend to do that. But these probably need to be replaced. You know, they're leaking up here. So I don't know if that's normal or not. But anyway, this kept it fine. But recently that one came off. I'm just going to retape it.
So it's leaking from the fitting up here?
I think so, yeah.
You mind if I take it off?
No, please do.
This is excellent tape.
I mean, I assume that's where it's leaking from. It seems like it is up top. And I did notice when I bought the boat, there was like one of these or two spares, but I don't think they were the right size.
If it's leaking from up in this section, that's not the hose, it's the seal. The question is that British straight thread right there. Typically speaking, with the Brits, you got British straight thread that gets captured with, I haven't brought all my stuff down yet, I just wanted to see what I needed first. Okay. But it usually seals with an O-ring or a copper washer. Yeah, we can take care of this. It's not a problem. The other thing that you can do with these is you can actually put, even though it's not the sealing surface, I'll put pipe dope on the threads right here, and it's a secondary seal.
Great.
But yeah, okay. Nice. Who built your shower head? Mixing elbow?
It's a good one.
That's impressive. That's a good way of doing it. The only thing that would concern me is this section right here. That's hot. Very hot.
Right.
And that's why I'm saying that, I'll just tell you flat out, this could be between 400 degrees.
Wow.
Okay? So if you were underway and something flashed, let's say an oil line ruptured, fuel line, return line, splashed on that, it's an instant ignition point.
Okay.
Exhaust wrap, something just to cover up this area before it gets cooled.
Okay.
All right?
I'll make a note of that right now.
I usually use this stuff Socoline, but it's British. It's called sodium silicate, and it's $230 a tube.
Wow.
But if in your application, all you need to do is just wrap this thing up, and then these are almost like stainless steel zip ties.
Right.
And you'll tighten them there, tighten it there, make sure it's tight all around.
Right.
Usually the wrap is about, you'll start at this point.
Right.
Okay. Wrap all the way around here on top of this, and you're going to wrap to right here.
Okay.
Okay. And then this section will actually be cool.
Even the bolts tube and the connector, yeah.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, wrap on top of that. Going before your throttle there.
Right.
That's putting undue stress on the inner cable.
Yeah, look how much this is too. That's really...
Well, this one's not bad.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because it is a long loop.
Right, okay.
This is a two tight bends.
Okay.
Typically speaking, what would be okay would be to come down here, make a big loop, and then come down to the transmission. And then same with the throttle would be to take a big loop, actually coming this way, and then entering in over this way so that you've got... But, again, if you could get a cable that was that size, it would be even better.
This is a very wet engine room for some reason, not because it's leaking, and I've been fighting against the rust, a lot of rust, so anyway.
The best way to do that would be to have some type of block heater system. So what you're seeing is that's going on the outside of the engine, you know, when you get condensation.
Right.
Same stuff's inside. It's inside the cylinder, it's inside everywhere.
Right.
Now, if you can keep the engine at a solid temperature, which usually ends up being with a block heater around 100 degrees.
Right.
You will never have any internal or external sweating, and you'll notice that other things around the engine will not rust.
Okay.
In most engine rooms, in larger vessels, with 2 block heaters on those engines, they keep the entire engine room moisture-free, even with crossair coming through from the outside. Now, you could, in this particular application, as I'm looking at it, yeah, everything looks great there. I'm not.
It runs great. had a new alternator put on about a year ago.
What is that? How many volts?
55, I think.
50?
55, I think it is.
Amp?
55 amp alternator, yeah. And the original one was like 25. It was a real little guy.
All right. Go get my tools.
Thanks.
Okay, so the one thing that you need to remember with these collars is there are 2 set screws. Okay. Everybody will sit here, take this first one out, and then start banging on it because the collar's not moving, and it's because they have not removed the other set screw. You take the first set screw and completely remove it. Then underneath of it is another set screw. That's what actually holds it to the shaft. But again, just be very careful because I've done it before thinking, oh, and you don't have to back this one out very far, just enough to get it out of the divot in the shaft, and then everything will slide. Now, that particular piece right there, there's an O-ring on the inside of it.
Right.
And so you always need to check your shaft to make sure that there's no burrs, nicks, or anything like that before you slide that thing back.
Okay.
Otherwise, you'll cut the O-ring and then it'll leak.
So what do those engine heaters run about?
It depends. Like $100.
Oh, wow, that's not bad.
$130.
And they're powered by electric and diesel, or?
No, it's powered by 220. So it would be on when you're at the dock.
Right.
All right, perfect. As soon as you left the dock, the vessel would take over for it. Now, let's say your engine mounts are on the engine, which means your alignment won't change.
That's good.
At least in theory. We're talking about mechanical means, which means anything can throw off an alignment. But the interesting thing, which a lot of people ask, is if you have a vibratory mount like these, technically you are not getting a true alignment. And the reason for that being is the engine is moving on the rubber.
Well, I know the cutlass bearing needs to be replaced. It's a little worn on one side more than the other.
So, now's the fun part. So we've got it loose. Let me get the other one undone. So there are 2. And I didn't want to break the other one loose until I got this out. Otherwise you'll have a bunch of water seeping in.
Right.
Because we need to reseat it.
And so is that the shaft's going to be like pushed out a couple inches, or?
It will be pushed out a couple inches. And in most instances, it will contact your rudder.
On the boat.
Brass hammer on the boat. See that?
Yep.
Okay, so now I just push the shaft back. And now I need to reseal this. So, it's not leaking right now. Okay, that's good. And now I tighten the shaft seal back down again to make sure it's not leaking. But it's critical that be done, just for that very reason. The other good thing is it's nice that your shaft seal is tight.